Good morning everyone, this is Chris from Skilled Wealth on behalf of the Money for Life program. Today is Monday the 1st of April, April Fool's Day. Don't be fooled. We're here to make money. That's what it's all about. So today's little video is a market update. I just want to have a look at what's happening in the market today. We had a fantastic end to the week last week. If you remember, for those who've been following along, I've been saying to you that we've been really interested in terms of where the value of the S&P 500 is in relation to the resistance box that we've been monitoring for the last couple of months. I did give you a figure at the end of, or towards the end of last week, where I suggested that the market was going to finish, and that number was 2845. Let's have a look and see what actually the market did and where it closed on Friday, and let's have a look and see what we can expect from this week's trading. So this is the S&P 500. We can see that it did close out at 2834.40 on Friday night, which was just shy, obviously, of the 2845 that we were shooting for. It actually had a close or a high up there at one stage of 2836. So it didn't close at its high. It was a little bit off of that, and we can see that the S&P 500 values were above that red horizontal line, which is our resistance point. That's where we were basically hoping to be above by the end of the week. And in terms of where that resistance line is, again, for those who've been following along, between 2815 and 2820, that really was the pivotal point, if you like, in terms of whether the market was going to be up or down. And of course, Friday night, it looked like things were going very well by opening up above that level, and then it did in fact continue to trade higher. Why is it that we're interested in the S&P 500? Well, again, I know I'm sort of reinforcing this, but at the end of the day, 75% of the market will follow the direction of the S&P 500, and I'd much rather be on the side of those shares that are actually moving with the market, moving in the right direction. I don't need to be right all the time, but I do need to be right at least once. And of course, when we get it right, if we're making the most of the trading opportunities that exist around those levels, then we obviously will be making money. We had some fantastic trades that we did last week in terms of our covered calls. We ended up with ANF, of course, which ended up closing well and truly above the strike price of $25 that we had been aiming for. Gave our clients a return of 2.25%, which was fantastic. We've still got trades in Trip, FL, Foot Locker, and Sienna Corporation, CIEN, as well as CRE, CREE, and all four of those positions now effectively have strike prices with an expiry for this Friday. It'll be interesting to see how they come out. If we have a quick look at the futures market and see what's actually happening in the market right now, I'm extremely buoyed by what we're seeing. The Asian markets opened up strong this morning, bang, well over the 2845 indicator that we were shooting for last week. So if we had maybe another hour or so on the market on Friday night, there's no doubt in my mind that the S&P 500 would have been at the nominated figure of 2845, which is what we were shooting for. The fact that we've opened up very, very strong this morning, between sort of 17 and 18, up to as high as $19 and $20 above the closing position on Friday. This is a very, very good buoyant day for the market. Obviously, it's just the beginning of the day in terms of the global time zones that we're looking at. So the Asian markets have opened nice and strong. This will need to be confirmed and consolidated, obviously, with the European markets when they open up a little bit later today. And then we're going to be looking at what should be a very, very bullish day on the US market, of course, when it opens up tonight. In terms of where we're headed from here, well, look, for me, all I can see really is blue sky. A lot of the issues that the market's been dealing with over the last few weeks, the Mueller report is been and gone, all over and done with as far as the market's concerned. In terms of Brexit, it's been kicked down the road until at least the 12th of April. Still a little bit of uncertainty there, but there are more pressing issues that the market needs to worry about. The US Fed's come out and said that they're not going to raise interest rates. There's actually talk over the weekend that the Fed may actually start looking, with the global turn down, maybe looking at the idea of an interest rate reduction later this week, later this year. Of course, we'll get some news from that in the not too distant future, I'm sure. We've still got the China trade deal going on, and in terms of sort of internal politics for the US, the only real issue there is maybe the closing of the border, the southern border, where there's still a massive caravan of people who are trying to get into the US, or those illegal immigrants, and I guess that's something that will need to be played out over the next coming days. In terms of where we see the market going at this point in time, really it's blue sky. There's really not too much from a technical point of view that can get in the way. In terms of economic news, Friday is probably the only day we need to be concerned about, when unemployment figures will come out in the US. But pretty much from here on, the rest of the week, the beginning of the week, looks fairly good. April generally is a very good time in the marketplace. We'll find that the Dow Jones Industrial tends to have its best month of the year in April, so that's something that we should be looking forward to. Yeah, if the Dow Jones continues to run, then the S&P 500 should do exactly the same thing as well. I've got a couple of figures in mind for where I think the marketplace could end up at the end of this week. Let's see how we go. The two figures that I have in mind is a high of 2862. That really, for me, is the target for this week on the S&P 500. If we can get above that level early in the week, then from there I pretty much see blue skies right up to the value of around about 2875. Okay, but we really do need to get above that 62 figure first to start with. If we're not able to sustain the movement up, then we should get some sort of resistance at these levels. The market will come back down, obviously, and then we probably head back down to around about 2799, so just below the 2800 psychological level. So they're the anticipated figures for this week: 2862, 2799, not a bad range on it. In terms of the sort of the sort of shares that the clients should be looking at the moment, for the covered calls, stick with obviously the stock examples as they're coming out. We've got a pretty good spread of trades in there at the moment, so I don't see too much happening in regards to covered calls this week, but we'll certainly monitor those positions as we go through. In terms of the spread trading, the SPY most definitely is flavour of the week. It's been flavour of the month. It's actually been flavour of the quarter at the moment. It's been doing very well. So the SPY definitely put spreads of what we're looking at doing there. Again, Apple, Amazon, Barber, those are the sort of companies that obviously will do relatively well, both from a technical point of view in terms of where they're at right now, but also with this trade deal that can possibly come out. Barber particularly should do very well. Yin, YINN, is another one that's a Chinese stock that will do extremely well, simply on the basis of the US-China trade deal, keeping in mind that there's a trade delegation from China heading into Washington this week on Wednesday, in fact. So those talks I'm predicting very imminent in terms of some very good news coming out about those. Other than that, really some of the other shares that we've been interested in, Lulu could go either way this week. It could continue to rise, or it may well just fall away and come back down towards its median averages. That's something for you to consider. But overall, I think it's going to be a very positive week. That's it for me for now. I look forward to speaking to you on Wednesday for the market midweek update, and keep in mind, as I said, 2862 is the target that I'm shooting for. This figure should also be considered not just the target for the week. If we get to this early in the week, it will be the acceleration point. It's where the market will actually start to rise and continue to accelerate away from that. And as I said, the next point that I'll be looking at there will be the 2875 mark. Will we hit the all-time highs of September last year, 2900? You know what? I reckon we're not far off. A couple of good movements in the market this week. In terms of April being the sort of month that we would expect to have good bullish movements, I reckon by the end of this month we could very much be there. As I said, that's it for me. Enjoy the rest of your week. All the best with regards to your trading. If you need any information at all with regards to the trades that you're doing now, or if you're looking at getting into trading, please feel free to give us a call. Bye for now.